Hello, my name is Josh Doppler, and with my fellow classmates Ashlyn Baker, Parker Olson, and Kat Warner, we have created the following presentation to address how Lincoln, Nebraska can achieve net zero carbon emissions within the city. First off, I will address the issue. According to the city's electricity provider, LES, Lincoln's current energy consumption is only 33% renewable. Therefore, we have a lot of room for improvement if we wish to achieve net zero carbon emissions. We are already feeling the effects of climate change as we experience episodes of extreme weather such as hot summers, harsher winters, and the severe flooding we experienced last April. There is currently not enough infrastructure in place to achieve the higher levels of renewable energy sources to help us achieve cleaner energy and combat climate changes. Our goal we are proposing is to reach net zero carbon emissions in the city of Lincoln, Nebraska to minimize the climate crisis. In 2015, the United Nations adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which contains several goals that we found relevant to our topic. Goal number 3 is good health and well-being. When you reduce fossil fuel use, health improves due to higher air quality. Goal number 7 is affordable and clean energy. When striving for carbon neutrality, you are designing systems that allow clean energy to be used in affordable ways. Goal 9 is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. A large portion of energy consumption is for production and manufacturing, so if there are more innovative technologies, it will reduce greenhouse gases. Along with this, investments in infrastructure such as transportation, irrigation, energy, information technology are crucial to achieving carbon neutrality. Goal 11 is sustainable cities and communities. By becoming carbon neutral, Lincoln is becoming a sustainable city because it is investing its resources into its people via lower pollution, renewable technology, and better public transportation. Goal 13 is climate action. Having a carbon neutral plan directly addresses this goal since it will decrease the greenhouse gases and help fight the climate crisis. Goal 15, life on land. A portion of carbon neutrality could include the drawdown of carbon from the atmosphere with trees and other plants. Life on land is important for biodiversity and taking CO2 out of the atmosphere. Finally, Goal 17 is partnerships for the goals. To achieve carbon neutrality, the city will have to partner with many entities including LES, the University of Nebraska, business leaders, and many others. When developing our plan, we considered various economic, environmental, and societal factors that are tied to our recommendations. First off are the economic costs. Costs of technology installations such as solar panels and wind turbines must be considered, but they can be offset by the creation of jobs and revenues. One economic impact of renewable energy technology is that smaller entities are able to invest in it and reap the benefits, thus redistributing the wealth that current big energy companies have already monopolized on. Environmental factors vary depending on the project. Wind farms will create land issues as they will take up natural wildlife habitats. Solar farms will also take up space and use water and potentially hazardous materials in the manufacturing process. With geothermal energy, we will be using water which won't be completely replenished to the reservoirs due to some of it being dirty or released into the atmosphere as steam. Societal and equity factors we considered were the smaller scale projects which allow more people to be involved in the process, which creates jobs and reduces current resource conflicts because everyone will have more energy available to them. In our process, we developed a mind map to see what variables are affected by our overarching goal of carbon neutrality. When we plotted that goal on the map, it led us to consider the energy sources we can use and the stakeholders who will be involved in the process. We have developed a series of 3 solutions based on the 3 energy sources we considered to be the best in achieving our goal. Our first option is solar. In 2016, the solar industry employed more than 250,000 people. In contrast, the coal industry employed only 160,000 people. Other pros to consider are that solar panels require installation work in addition to sales and manufacturing, creating more jobs. Plus, the sun is available in most regions year-round, making it a renewable and dependable resource. The production of energy through solar power emits much less carbon than fossil fuels, which can improve public health among other things. Cons to consider are the high costs of installing solar panels, although costs have already dropped 70% from 2010 to 2017. Solar farms will also require land use in many scenarios, but this effect can be lessened by adopting what the city of St. Paul is doing, which is using rooftop solar panels to meet the consumption needs. One final consideration is that there are issues storing the energy for long periods of time. Next, we look at geothermal. This type of energy emits less carbon than coal and natural gas and is easily replenished. Due to lower air and water pollutants, it can also improve public health. Since it doesn't rely on the fossil fuel industry, there will be more stable and expectant costs. Geothermal, in comparison to solar and wind, can be better in terms of using less above-ground land. The cons of geothermal are the potential water use and pollutants. There are also issues with the type of land that the technology needs to be installed into, and the water usage can have harmful effects on the reservoirs if they're not managed properly. Reno, Nevada is one example of using geothermal energy, as they plan to reduce 80% of emissions by 2050. Our final solution is wind energy. According to newpowernebraska.org, there are already 2,000 jobs in Nebraska thanks to construction and maintenance of wind energy, and there is potential to double this number. Along with that, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says that the number of technicians to perform maintenance is expected to increase by 57% from 2018 to 2028. Wind energy also supports rural communities as they receive incentives to use the cleaner energy. Wind is also naturally occurring and can't be used up, therefore we don't have to worry about it like we do fossil fuels. The cons of this solution are the wind reliability, upfront costs imposing on wildlife, and the audible and visual pollution. We can see this carbon-neutral solution being utilized in St. Louis, Missouri, who plans for 100% clean energy by 2035. One exercise we did was to identify the stakeholders of this project. We identified LES because they are the energy provider for the city and will be concerned with the profitability, customer satisfaction, and reliability of their product. Secondly, the University of Nebraska is an important player since our university is central to our city. The university houses some of our top energy experts and will be concerned with the quality of our education, attracting students, and providing opportunities. Finally is our collective city of Lincoln. The citizens are all stakeholders and will be influenced by public health, tax implications, and environmental factors. When considering our options, we used the common good approach to define our ethics because we wanted to create a solution that was beneficial to everyone. From there, we had to evaluate our environmental ethic, which is related to treating all of the environment with respect and considering impacts on various stakeholders within that environment. In doing so, we concluded that every option for achieving carbon neutrality has its pros and cons. Wind energy respects the rights of all since it is low cost, creates jobs, and is created in the U.S. While all options will treat people proportionally considering their lower electric bill costs and public health improvements, wind and solar will best serve our community. Our recommendation for implementation is that Lincoln should strive to implement a variety of energy sources to have a reliable mixture of clean energy resources. It should be led by wind and solar, followed by geothermal, hydroelectric, natural gas, and others as needed. This will reduce the carbon footprint of Lincoln while also maintaining reliability and profitability. Along our way to proposing these solutions, we discovered the complexities that go into implementing renewable energy sources for the sake of reducing emissions. To summarize our main findings, reaching net zero carbon emissions will reduce the effects of the climate crisis. To reach net zero, we must utilize alternative forms of energy and improve our infrastructure. Lastly, we can become a leader in climate resiliency for the state of Nebraska and make a followable plan for other cities who choose to take care of their own environment. Thank you for watching.